Okay, beautiful. Then we're good to go. I'm with the powerful, the mighty executive producer of Yager Development, Jonathan Lindsay. Thank you for joining me, mate.
Hello. That's a pleasure. Pleasure to be with you.
Right off the bat, when is Closed Beta 2 launching? So everyone knows.
2 p.m. on the 10th.
2 p.m. on the
March
10th.
the 10th. Yeah.
2 p.m.
I guess that's Berlin time.
Berlin
That will
time.
be. Is that like midnight where you are? You're in. Where are you? You're in.
Let's say Brisbane time. I'm not sure what time it checks out here.
+10 or something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool if it's at midnight at your time.
That would be awesome. I'll be up. I'll probably be doing a 24-hour stream when it hits.
Oh, good stuff.
What's your role first and foremost as executive producer? I imagine you have your fingers on pretty much every component of the project.
I guess my role is to try not to do that too much, which I fail at often.
Get out of people's way a bit.
Yeah, I guess, especially as it comes up into release, you're nervous, so there's definitely a tendency to get too involved.
Sure.
My role is I'm the project leader, I guess, for development and for publishing. So mainly what I do is manage this team, or lead this team of what we call the product team. And there's 10 of us, a mixture of development and publishing folks. And my job is to make sure we all have the same goals and that we're working well as a team. And that's basically like the leadership team of the project. And then each one of these people, they have their own teams, own set of responsibilities, and yeah. So I just mainly do the high level part. Yeah, I started off my career in game design, and that was pure fun, and pretty much, and just a bit of frustration. But I think the main thing is just kind of like it's just a lot of different things to keep track of and to think about, and there's a lot of talking, like there's meetings all day, but they're generally pretty good, and honestly it's a fun job. I think a lot of people would like to have it, so I feel pretty honored, to be honest.
That is awesome. What were you doing right before Yager? How'd you get here?
It's a long story of trying to get towards AAA. So I started in 2008, had my first proper job, but I started in 2006 on a project called APB, All Points Bulletin. I was an intern associate producer.
Yeah.
And then I came over to Germany in 2008 and worked in like the 3D browser games. They were like Java games injected into the browser. That was an MMORPG. And then it's basically been trying to make bigger, higher quality games since then. So what I was doing before was a game called Dragon Sang Online, which is a kind of more casual PoE basically. And it's pretty old. It's been around for quite a long time. So I was doing that. I was the project lead on that game. And so I've always been in free to play.
Yeah.
And trying to get towards games that I myself love and want to play and make those games for selfish reasons, of course. No personal enjoyment.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I know your taste is good. We were talking right before the interview went live about GoldenEye, the greatest of all time, arguably. We both enjoyed that. So your taste is good. I think the value system at Yager is good. And I've talked to a few of you now, and I like what you're doing there. How big's the team at Yager? I think I talked to Days about this.
Yeah. Like a few months back, we were around 79, but we've grown a lot over the last few months, so we're over 100 now.
Wow.
So a lot of people started recently, and that's been so good for us. We've been able to really push the quality. So our maps team got a bit bigger, and
Right.
so you're really going to notice the difference from CB1 to CB2 in terms of quality.
And what are you most excited about in CB2?
Watching streams.
Yeah. You can come hang out with me, have a beer with me.
It doesn't take me much. So yeah, I'd probably be up for that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've watched so much on CB1, and it's just pure fun to watch them, but you learn so much about the game,
Right.
so you learn so much
Yeah.
about
Is
what's
there
wrong
like
and
do you
what
go
and what
into
people like.
do you go into these like with an aim to learn something? Is there questions you have before the launch of a closed beta?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. You'll see them in the survey. We always think about what we'd like to learn from the community, and so in the game there's always a survey, right? An in-game survey
Right.
where we collect feedback. But
Yep.
me personally, I'm usually a bit involved in the creation of that. Maybe less so recently, but I more just watch it for entertainment, and then you end up picking stuff up during the stream, so
Sure.
through interacting with the community and just listening to the streamer and stuff. So
Imagine
it's
you get
mainly
a
for the
number of new
entertainment.
ideas too, eh?
Yeah, there's always a lot of kind of left field stuff that you wouldn't think of, right? Because we're so focused on what the main pillars of the game are,
Yep.
and the community and the streamers, they think of it, but not as developers, right? So there's something that they really do way better than we'll ever be able to do, I think, because we're developers. But it's something that we try to do well because it's a pillar of the game, and it's authentic sci-fi prospecting. And me and Days talk about it a lot.
Yep.
And it's this kind of thing of, does this make sense in this game universe? Players put a lot of stock into that.
Yeah.
And I really love that, because I think if we can do a good job in making stuff authentic and feel like all makes sense, then the game becomes even more immersive.
How long is the closed beta going to be open for this time around? Is it a week or?
It's a bit longer. I think
Longer.
we're closing on, is it 28th? I think it's the 28th, and if all things go well, it should not be too long before we launch. So we have
Yep.
like a gate approach. So we basically look at some key performance indicators, like what percentage of players churn, how long play sessions are, things like this, to kind of get a feeling of the quality of the game, along with what's the sentiment in Discord and what our partners saying. And if everything goes well, then we pass this gate basically that unlocks the next phase. And
Awesome.
yeah, so hopefully all goes well, and we're into launch and season 1 pretty shortly after. That would be a slam dunk. I really hope that happens.
Here's hoping. And what's new in this closed beta this time around? Is there new guns, items, monsters?
Oh man, so many things, man. So let's go through them. So I think that in terms of the biggest impact is probably the campaign and the IMAs, so the in-match activities. So the laser drill and the oil pumps. I've forgotten the real name for them from ICA. And then there's a secret thing we're keeping back from Osiris, which is the most epic of all of those things.
Oh,
And
spicy.
I just remembered, don't say it, because I almost said it.
If you accidentally slip up here, it's fine.
Yeah, right. It'd be good for you, not so good for me. The whole team would have my head. Yeah, so I think like that's the biggest thing, are these is the campaign, where we get to share more lore, and You get to experience being a prospector in different ways with these IMAs.
Right.
There is a new gun. There's the Comrade. It's like a rocket launcher. We
Ooh.
had it in the past in the old game. Yeah, honestly, there's still a lot of old content from the old version of the
Right.
cycle that would work well. We just don't want to throw it all in a haphazard way and wreck the balance of the game, you know? So we want to really, as we bring back stuff like the laser drill, we want to really consider, okay, how to do it in the frontier way, you know?
Yeah.
So it takes a bit of time. So I know there's some community members like, oh, I want this gun back, and I want the pain train back and stuff like that. And I want those
Right.
things too. We all want them.
Yeah.
But we just need to do them really well. So, but it's honestly, there's tons of stuff. There's massive improvements to the maps. I think that's a really, really noticeable thing. Big step forward in combat, in movement, in combat tuning. Audio is incredibly good. Big step forward in audio. It's already at a decent level in CB1, but I think now it might be the best of the games I can think of in the genre. But we'll see what the players think. And
Awesome.
thousands of bug fixes. So
Yeah, I imagine. The first closed beta was pretty smooth, I thought. There was the occasional rubber banding here and there, but overall it's a really polished experience, I thought. What can we expect this time around in CB2?
hopefully not the rubber banding, but honestly, it's difficult at scale.
Right.
We'll see. We had more problems than what was that visible, perhaps. So
Yeah.
in CB1, so we couldn't go past like 10,000 concurrent users, so users playing at the same time, because things just would fall over. So we did have issues. We had issues with some hackers as well at the end of
Right.
the closed beta one. So two major things we focused on since then for CB2 has been to make it really difficult to hack the game, because it's a free-to-play game. So you know
Right.
that's always a bigger risk, and it's a game where you lose everything, where you die. So like it could be recipe for disaster. So we put a lot of focus on that, and we also put a lot of focus on scalability, so we can get much higher CCU, so concurrent user counts. So I hope it's just all around bigger and smoother, but it's going to be a challenge, it's for sure.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, last time it probably got you a bit unexpected how quick it blew up. It just
We
almost
didn't
came out of
expect it.
nowhere.
We didn't expect it. You know, we had some discussions about the NDA before the launch, and before CB1, before the launch of CB1, and we're like, maybe if it goes well, we could take the NDA away. And I really wanted that. A lot of us really
Yeah.
wanted that, but we didn't expect that it would be making sense to do that necessarily. And you know what changed our kind of confidence going into it was we had the focus test group, or like the player council. We had them playing the game a couple of weeks before CB1, and they quite liked it, and they helped us improve it immensely. There were many issues that they found, and we went into CB1 like 2 weeks later with quite a lot more confidence than we had previously. Mainly because the closed alphas weren't good. They were really maybe too early and too
Right.
sketchy, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then we saw how it went in the first week, and over the first weekend, and people seemed to be having a blast, and the numbers were really good. And then we're like, okay, let's just take away the NDA and see what happens. But we did not expect that to happen. So, yeah, it was glorious.
Good way to describe it. I suppose you'll be more prepared for this time around. You know, I mean, it's pretty well anticipated. I think it's one of the more anticipated games of the year at this point. So I imagine,
we try, and that's all I can say. You know, I'm pretty confident that we've done a lot of good things there, and in many ways, all those issues during closed beta 1, which were quite frustrating. You see your player numbers go up a lot, and then you end up not being able to support that amount of users in a way that was really good, actually, because it showed where all the bottlenecks are and where all the issues are. So there are a lot of things that we know about, and then there are the unknown unknowns, which we will find out shortly after CB2 launch, because we have a lot of signups. Really a lot. So we're getting close to 1 million signups, and
wow,
the highest wish listed free to play game on Steam at the moment. So
and
we're
is that all someone has to do to get access to the closed beta?
Just sign up on EGS or Steam.
Yep.
But honestly, like, we're not going to be giving out tons of keys on day one.
Right.
So everyone who was in CB1 and got access was able, got a key. They'll have access in CB2 from day one. And everyone that didn't get a key, and everyone who signed up since, we'll give access once we're sure the servers are stable.
That makes sense.
And and there's another big change as well. Like, it's a kind of a smaller thing, but it makes a big difference. We didn't have a login queue during CB1, so it was basically a choice between the game is up or the game is down. There was no way to throttle the amount of players on the servers.
Right.
This is binary, so we'll have that this time. So I think it will be smoother because of that.
Excellent. What other tweaks have you made? We talked about a new gun and stuff. Is there a change in like player movement or the weight system or climbing or any of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, there's been a lot of changes there. I mean, that's mainly on the core team, and who are doing a fantastic job. So there was quite a lot of changes to movement. That one was a collaboration between core team and maps, because the issues were some kind of jankiness with climbing, but there were also, we got a lot of feedback from players in CB1 that the climbing experience was frustrating, also for other reasons, just because of the maybe too much routing of players, and the not having enough different ways to traverse around the map, or ways that looked like you could climb up but actually you couldn't. So that was a big effort to fix. I think it's in a much better place now. It's not perfect, but it's definitely much better. Stamina got tweaked. That we got a lot of strong feedback on from the last focus test group a few days back, like last week. No, sorry, from the focus test group in the start of February. So I think we're in a better place with what we have now. Now the stamina, it regens more often. It's not blocked by because you're using a health stim or you're doing something and it blocks the stamina.
Oh, that's good news. That's good to hear.
Yeah, it's really a lot better. And what I really like about it as well is that it's exponential. So it starts off slowly, the stamina regen, and it goes whoop. It just feels a lot better,
Yeah.
So
I've got to say that some of those cliffs, for me, they beg for a grappling hook.
You're
not a grappling hook up to those bastards. Is that something you're thinking about? I talked to Daze a little bit about it, but
I quite like it because a major emotion that we're going after is the feeling of tense uncertainty, and I've definitely enjoyed some abseiling as a teenager, and there's plenty of tense uncertainty when you're doing that. That's for sure. So, I don't want anything that's where you feel like a superhero, you know, where
Sure.
like in the old game where you could just go whoop with
Yeah,
the
there was
direction of
jetpacks in
water.
the old game, right?
Yeah, you're too much of a superhero then.
I
It's not
agree.
tense enough,
I agree.
you know.
Yeah.
The
Jetpacks is a
grappling
bit
hook is
too
pretty
much.
tense, you know.
I think it's a
Yeah,
bit too much, but grappling hook, it's a waste to work that. That makes sense to
I
my
think
estimation.
it would be great. Yeah, I think the maps team are probably, or the level designers are probably pulling their hair out, screaming as they hear me watching this stream right now and saying these things. But yeah,
Well, let's give them
it's
something
on
to
them.
pull their.
It's on them. They have to. Daza and the level designers have to figure out if that's the right approach or not. A grappling hook, I don't know. But as a player, like with my gamer hat on, so not
Yeah.
EP, I think it sounds cool.
We can give them some more stuff to pull their hair out about. I think it'd be cool to have some sort of surveillance system, like somewhere to to lay down cameras and access those cameras and potentially track areas or players. I would love to see something like that. Is that something you've thought about?
I love it in Rainbow's. Is it Rainbow Six Ghost Recon?
Splinter Cell is what comes to mind for me.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, the big Ubisoft game
Yeah.
on Steam. Yeah, the little remote control car with the camera on it. It's so cool.
Oh right. Yeah, that too. You
Yeah,
could do
yeah.
all sorts of fun stuff there. I mean, I know you get adding tension and drama. The way I envisage it is walking through a field and noticing a camera there somewhere and realizing you're being monitored. It adds to the story.
So I think it might be. I worry about the players who want to, be very careful and sneaky and stealthy and get a right balance between them and people who want to kill them
Right.
and take their stuff.
Sure.
So, we talked about droids, adding the droids back in the future. I mean, we will do that in a later season, and having pretty intimidating, scary, slightly broken robots that want to rip your face off would be a great addition to the game. And
I like that.
maybe they use surveillance cameras. Maybe that would be an
Ooh.
interesting approach.
Yeah, cool.
I don't know, but I think that I agree with that emotional kind of resonance when you see a camera and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that was very fitting for our game.
Sure. And those droids you're talking about there, they existed in the old game, right? And they were kind of like an AI that you could potentially collect a weapon from.
Yeah. I think it was not a full implementation of the vision, and of the droids that we had back then, because we just didn't have the resources, like the time. But I think what we're more thinking about now is how we can use them to make the world feel more authentic. So if you think of like uplink or power up, especially power up, if there are droids, maybe surveillance droids, but maybe also combat or defensive droids, which are powered down, and as you put the batteries in, that they get powered up, and they're maybe storm damaged and a bit crazy and very dangerous. It might be making it more varied and interesting, doing the power up, because that's another variable designers can play with,
Right.
perhaps for uplink as well. So
Yeah.
so that's kind of like what we were thinking about. It's early ideation stuff at the moment, so it could totally, everything I'm saying that's creative, it's not is to be taken with a huge pinch of salt. So
Yep, sure. I like a game that's hard to get from A to B without some event occurring. And for me, that was really unique about the first closed beta was when I was traveling in the cosmic event, like the meteor shower would happen, and all of a sudden I find myself chasing that instead of my main objective. For you, what's your goal to separate yourself from other games? Is it stuff like that?
I think that is at the core of it. So I was playing in the weekend on the focus test group, and I had a blast. I played a lot, and I was desperately trying to find some materials, and I went to the woodcutter camp. I needed to find some wood, and is it azure wood or something like that. Anyway, so the storm came in, and I was like, I could maybe make it, but I'll just stay in that little house that's looking
Right.
down over the lake, you know.
Yep.
And I was there, and the storm was about to come in, and then it was all getting all dark and stuff, and then I could hear the laser drill.
Right.
And I was like, oh shit, and then I could see the laser drill, and then the meteor shower started, and this is all just before the storm came in. So so it's just epic, like I think it's at the like, to zoom out a bit and try to put a wrapper around it. I think it's just you have these amazing dramatic stories. Each deployment, each drop, it can just turn out so different from what you expected, because there's so many different variables.
Yeah,
There's so
definitely.
many things that can happen.
Right.
There's there's other players, of course. There's the storm that's trying to, scorch your behind. There's all sorts of different variables at play. So I think it's highly replayable because of it.
Yeah, absolutely. The storm was another epic experience. I thought, is there a way, there wasn't in the last closed beta, to move through the storm without risk, was there?
No, there's always been lightning strikes, but I think they're better tuned now. At least when I was playing over the weekend, the lightning strikes are less frequent. So the danger is more that the monsters are getting buffed and are more difficult.
Right.
I have
Yeah.
to say, I would love us to bring the Howler back. Again, this is me EP hat off and gamer hat on. So I'd love it for us to bring the Howler back. It was this kind of terrifying flying monster, and I would love it to be only around when the storm is on, and for
Right.
it to be the helicopter in Rust, effectively. Like you see it and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's certainly
I
going for
think,
drama.
oh yeah, it's all about the drama, man. It's
It
all about the
is.
drama. Uh,
Definitely.
yeah, it's what we set out to do, like back in 2016 with the original pitch, and when we made the investment pitch as well. We're hustling to get an investor, so we
Yeah.
could actually afford to make this game. And we always talked about drama, and from the perspective of somebody playing the game, but also from somebody watching the game. So we were very big on
Right.
that back then, and we just lost track of it, honestly, with the last game.
Yeah. Now I know also the last closed beta you had like tasks and missions to do from factions. Now you're doing campaigns as well to supplement that. What can you tell us about the campaigns that's different from what we saw before?
I think the main thing is that there's more focus on lore, and there are more unique types of missions, mainly because of the IMAs. So the way it works is, let's take Korolev. So you need to get reputation with them. So narratively speaking, you're a recruit and they don't know you, and they're like, okay, yeah, prospector, great, do some stuff for us. And there's a story arc, and then as you go through that, they have more trust in you, and you get to do the things like the laser drill at the end of the campaign. So the jobs are something you can do while you're doing the campaign. So I fully expect that people will have the 3 campaigns running at once and a job with each of the factions. That's what I do anyway. So when I play it, and just maximum efficiency.
Makes sense.
So
Multitask a little. Yeah.
I think where we could go in the future, though, I think we haven't done this yet because we didn't have that much time between CB1 and CB2. But where we could perhaps go in the future is that these factions, they have leaders, and I'd love to know more about them, what motivates them, and have like side story campaign or quests where you find out all about Marie and her backstory and stuff like that. I find that super compelling personally.
Yeah,
But
sure.
it just adds a lot of richness and depth, you know.
Oh, that
A lot
yeah,
of
that adds to one of my questions I'd written down was about lore. So that's good to
yeah,
know. Good to know more about that.
yeah, I think so. I think that's often not fully appreciated how valuable it is.
Yeah,
It's the same. It's like lore and audio are often things that don't get enough focus in development, and that's something that we're really trying to do.
yeah, absolutely. When I know there's another map in the works, there's a third map, and it's more
Oh, yeah.
sort of dungeon-esque, isn't it? Is that expected sometime with launch or soon after?
It's something that we are doing for a future season.
Yep.
So we're trying to get it ready as soon as we can, but we haven't really even started proper play testing of it yet. Honestly, it's gone through quite a few iterations since November. We made like different versions of it, and it helped us kind of figure out what we don't want in many ways, you know, which is just as valuable as figuring out what we do want. And then we kind of redid the creative brief with the maps team, and now I think we have a stronger vision for what we want to do. So there's aspects to that map that potentially radically change the game. It's
Yeah.
not just a new map. It's
Right.
there's some very cool things happening on that map.
Right.
So
I know you're
I
introducing like a flashlight and reasons to use that.
no, I'm talking about way bigger things than that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. You don't feel like spilling any secrets?
Nah, I mean I really want to, but
Yeah.
but no, because it's not even 100% finalized exactly what the
Sure.
scope of that's going to be, and but I think that it's the focus of it is end game. So
Right.
we are not only thinking about end game content in terms of maps, but also end game systems and what we can do there. So yeah, let's see how that goes. But I'm personally extremely excited by it, so as you can probably tell.
Yeah. Awesome. How long will the season be? Is it 3 months?
It's 3 months, and we don't know if that's the sweet spot. We don't know. So let's see how it goes. So the reasoning behind it to do it 3 months, which is a bit more often than on other games, is we think that coming in mid-season is obviously it's going to happen plenty.
Yeah.
Although our marketing is focused at the season start, you know, people will come in whenever they discover the
Right.
game, and if they have to wait 4 months until a wipe, that's maybe a deal breaker, you know, or maybe a problem. So on the flip side, maybe you're just getting into the wipe, maybe you're just getting into the experience, then maybe 3 months is too short.
Yeah.
So it's a
tricky
one, you know.
Yeah, it is a tricky one.
We'll just see what the community says, and if it feels good with 3 months, then we'll keep it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we've modeled it in terms of our like business modeling and financial projections and stuff. We've based it on 3 months. So,
Right.
but anything is up to change based on, you know, feedback.
Right.
So,
Yeah. That's good. What will happen at the end of seasons? You'd wipe characters, I imagine, and inventory, but keep cosmetics. Is that right?
yeah, so cosmetics you will keep, and any Aurum that you've got, regardless of if it's generated from your player quarters or from your season pass rewards, or that you paid for it, you'll be keeping and carrying over into the next. Everything else is gone.
Yep.
All your K-mark balance is gone, and player quarters is reset. All your inventory is gone. So, yeah, I think it's a fair way of doing it. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I'm just getting a bit of a feedback from myself. Actually, that's better. Seems to have gone away. Yeah, I think it makes sense to do that. Keep cosmetics. It'd be good to have some sort of achievements or like a trophy cabinet or something, so that you feel like you've really achieved something, taking over. You know, that maybe in the outpost or your headquarters or whatever, you keep something there. You do want, yeah.
We were planning to do achievements, but it's just we got so many other things that we have to do.
Right.
I think for season 2 though, a trophy cabinet was being discussed for season 2.
Right. Okay.
So we won't have it for season 1, but it's likely we'll have something like that for season 2. And but it, it could change. But I agree. I think you want that kind of feeling of being able to just show that, in the community, in the game with other players, that you're a veteran.
Yeah.
So, but I think you'll be able to do that anyway, because you'll have stuff that you unlocked from the season pass. So more than likely, and other things that you can show off. But the trophy cabinet is a popular idea here in your player quarters, and I love the idea of being able to customize your player quarters somewhat and be able to invite your friends to come and have a look at it, and your trophy cabinet. They can look at that too.
Right. So could you tell us more about the currency? Because there's a currency that's tied to real world currency for the sake of microtransactions. That's just mainly cosmetics, isn't it? There's no pay to win element.
No, there's it's not only cosmetics. Like we've always said, that there's also convenience in there as well.
Right.
So Orem is the pay currency, the cash currency, and sometimes called the hard currency. And in games, free-to-play games, you kind of have two paradigms. You have the hard currency is truly hard in the sense that you can only get it by paying.
Right.
And then the other paradigm is you can also grind it.
Right.
Right. So it's like hard soft currency, or I don't know, I always forget what it's actually called. That type of currency. So we're the second one. So you can generate it. You'll get it as free rewards in the season pass, and you pay for it. So, and you can use it for buying vanity. You can also use it on skipping timers.
Yep.
But this is an important thing. You can also use K marks for skipping timers. You don't have to use Orem.
Right. Yeah.
And with the gear salvage, you can use Orem on that. You also get gear salvage tokens for free through the season pass, and also new players get a bunch of them at the start. And there is also the less good insurance, that's K marks as well. So we're trying to do something that we feel is going to help us fund the game. It's a very, very big project.
Yeah.
We were talking about how many people were working on it earlier, right? So
definitely.
It costs a lot every month to run the project.
Right.
So we're hopeful that we kind of strike the balance where it's fair and it is economically viable, so we can keep on making the game.
I imagine you'd be looking at what other games are doing and learning from their mistakes. I know Halo definitely had some negative feedback come their way from what they did.
Yeah, I don't know what they did, but please tell me.
Oh, I mean, they had some of the cosmetics were literally like $10 each for one item piece. and it was
Oh wow, that's a lot. Yeah,
it was pretty wild. So
yeah.
they did change on the basis of the community feedback, but yeah, there was a shitstorm first. So
Yeah. Our cosmetic pricing is the same as it was in the old cycle, and I've never heard any like criticism of that. But yeah, there are definitely some things worth that are sold for more than $10, but it's like the whole archetype and things like that, you know.
right,
So
okay.
yeah.
I imagine
But yeah,
you'll sort of adjust as time moves forward as well, based on community feedback as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, community feedback and also just like, numbers, how do things sell, what sells well. Um, like I'm sure players understand that we we want to keep on making the game and we need to make sure that it's economically viable. Um, so yeah, I think we got a decent amount of cosmetics. So I'd expect the majority of our revenue probably coming from the Fortuna Pass,
yeah,
and where you're getting cosmetics, but not only, you're also getting these gear salvage tokens, Aurum, and yeah, it's also when we give out weapon vanity, we want to make sure you have the weapon, so you will get the weapon before. So, for example, nothing fancy, but it'll be things like the C32 or the PDW. And before we give you the skin for that, we'll make sure you have the weapon by also giving it to you in the pass. So, yeah.
Can you tell us more about how insurance is going to work? Because there'll be a hard currency tied to that on some level. Is that right?
Yes. So we wrote a blog post that goes into detail. So the cycle dot game, for anyone that wants to get the nitty gritty, you can go to the cycle dot game and look at news and find the blog post. So the way it works is that you got two options. Okay, you can do the K mark option, which is a regular insurance, which will give you a percentage of the K mark value of the item back, and then you have the gear salvage, which is for Aurum. And the way that works is just before you deploy, you can select or you can choose to put gear salvage on slots on your like your weapon slots, on your helmet, your backpack, your armor.
Yeah.
And um, when you've done that, it means that when you die, the if the gear is not taken by another player, this is a very important part, um, you'll get that item back. It's with a delay. You'll get it in your player quarters. It'll take 45 minutes or so. You're just gonna have to wait. And if you don't get it back, because someone has looted it, then you will get the it will default. It will go back to the K mark insurance I described earlier.
Right.
So that's the kind of fallback option. Now, if a squad mate takes loots your stuff, you won't get it will void the salvage,
Of course. Yeah.
because we're just assuming that they're going to give it back to you.
Right.
If you don't do that, then you get a lot of insurance fraud that you see in other games, and then that basically inflates the economy, and then the high stakes become less high because everyone has tons of items.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the game
absolutely.
becomes more boring. So yeah.
Definitely. What do you think is the biggest challenge for Yager moving forward between now and launch, let's say?
Yeah, so to give you some insight how we kind of approach that, we have something called the risk register, and once or twice a month we come together, like a small group of us, and we go over the major risks. And there are definitely a bunch of them. So there are some things we can control and some things we can't, right? So, for example, a big risk that we can't control is that somebody comes out with a really good I mean, does this genre even have a name yet? Is it extraction shooter or raid
Right.
shooter? I don't know.
I mean,
I don't
you and
know, but
Tarkov, and it's sort of
yeah,
maybe Hunt
Hunt
Showdown.
and
There's a few games that have
Vigor.
sort of almost created a new genre.
It'll get a name at some point, right? I
Yeah.
remember back in the day, we were calling MOBAs Dota clones, and then somebody eventually said it's a MOBA. So at least that's how I remember it. I don't know if that's accurate. But yeah, so there's risks that we can't control, and then there's risks that we can, and or we can mitigate. We maybe can't eliminate them. And a big one is cheaters.
Right.
We touched on that earlier.
Right.
That's a major risk. You know, if the game really pops and we get a big community, then there's going to be a high incentive for people to sell hacks.
Right.
So we just need to make sure they don't work. And if they
Uh,
do work, that they don't work for very long.
What's
So that's a
what's your
major risk.
strategy there? How are you dealing with that?
It's multifaceted. So we have implemented Battle Eye that helps for sure, but that's not like there's no silver bullet with this stuff. We've guarded a lot of the functions on the battle servers so that, you know, if you go beyond a certain damage value, the computer says no, because it's just not possible. So they're kind of guarded in that sense. We've encrypted the network traffic, and which is a very important step. We made the client dumber and the server smarter. So
Yeah.
and we've made it the server much more secure. So you can't rummage around and change anything. Or inject anything there. So I think we probably need to write a blog post or something. But I don't know, maybe we don't want to give too much detail away. Maybe
Right.
that'd be a
Yeah.
tactical mistake.
Sure.
I hope I haven't given away too
Would
much.
there be
I don't
like a
think
player
so, but
report system? Like if I get killed by a cheater and I can
yes,
tell? Yeah.
yes. But one of the best features that help there are kill cams. But we just think kill cams are such a double-edged sword,
Right.
because they all get
Definitely.
abused by squads. So we just don't want to go that route.
Very arcadey as well. Yeah. Very
Yeah,
arcadey.
that's really not. You're right. It's not just that it can be abused. It's just it's not really us, I think. But
I don't think so. I'm not. I see the utility in some games, but it doesn't fit in with the cycle in my estimation.
yeah, there's other things on the tech side we can do. There is a data stream where you can reconstruct what happened in Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
But we're not going to have that ready, so we're just going to have to rely on videos. Honestly, it's a lot of people are going to be streaming the game, and hopefully that'll cover it.
Yeah. What's the server? What are the servers going to do? Are they going to be region-based servers? Like, are they going to be how many servers? Different servers will there be?
I think your real question is, will Australia get one?
Well, yeah. I don't want to know that.
So it'll be regional based. We are discussing an Oceania server, so it's more likely what we'll be doing is that. Japan, China, so the region based, Western Europe. We have to see what we do about Eastern Europe, West Coast US, East Coast US. I think that's it. That's probably it for launch.
Okay.
It could be that we add one in South America in the future. It really depends on the uptake of the game there.
Sure.
But that's what we're more than likely launching with. So there was a meeting the other day to finalize that list. I wasn't there, but I think it was something like that. So the way it works is that we'll just put you on the one that's closest when it comes to your ping. When you're in a squad, I can't remember how. I think it's the person who created the squad. You'll all be on that server. I think it works like that.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
But potentially, you and I could play together. Will content creators ever get a chance to play with the devs?
Yeah, we did that a whole bunch in the
Oh, really?
past, and
'Cause I have a feeling you and I could do some serious damage together.
oh no, I suck, dude. But you can carry me. I'm happy for that to happen.
It'd be good content
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, it would be good content. It'd be me carrying somewhere as you take some folks out, I hope. Now we played a lot in the past, and I'm pretty sure we'll do that again. So um, I really enjoyed it. I have to say, it's so much fun. We also used to stream like ourselves and play the game. Like me and Days played it a lot and stuff in the past. But I think it's more fun to do with content creators actually. I would be more up for that. What do
Yeah.
you think, Scraticus? Okay. No problem. It's about streaming with devs and streamers playing together.
Yes. Plan.
There you go. We have plans.
Oh, love
Is
it.
that
I
the
hope I'm
partner
included
program?
somewhere in those plans.
Okay.
I want to play with you. I want to play you lot with you lot. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm totally up for that. Yeah. It'd be great if it's like 6 in the morning your time, because that's like 6 p.m. That's beer o'clock on this side.
Yeah. Maybe you catch us on a
that'd be
24-hour
good.
stream then, because it
Yeah.
could be beer o'clock on my end as well. Yeah. There's one idea that occurred to me recently that I wanted to throw your way, which was the potential ability to set traps for players. Maybe lure
Yeah.
creatures, you know, have some kind of bait. Have you thought about this? I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. We have a grenade in mind, like a pheromone grenade
Ooh.
that you can throw and it will track the monsters. So that's going to be a big thing for us in the future season, where we're really going to push what you can do tactically, in terms of kind of indirect combat. So for the players that are not maybe their Twitch skills aren't quite as good as they used to be, and they're not always the most competitive.
Right.
Give them tools to do some asymmetric warfare, basically.
Love that.
So
Love that
yeah,
idea.
that's the plan. So
Excellent. I'm
get
glad you're thinking about
competitive.
it. I've got one more idea that I think I'll send it to you offline, but I think it's really pretty wild. I don't know that
Is
you
it
would have
too
thought
good
about
to
it.
share with the chat?
You sure? I can if you want. Basically,
It's up to
the
you.
idea
It's
would
up to
be it's sort of inspired by a game I created on my own Twitch channel, but you would do it your own way, of course. Which was you go into the world and there's collectible cards that are sort of in line with the lore of the cycle, and you can use those cards at the outpost in a card game against other people, other prospectors that you meet at the
I
outpost.
love that. Oh, I love that.
I think it'd
That's
be
so
awesome.
good. That would be great. That would be great.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of, like Gwent style card game, or what are you
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
of?
I mean, you could come up with your own way to do it. I could show you what I do, and you could take inspiration from that if you want. But I think
Yeah.
it just adds this little collection and fun little thing to do at the outpost. I mean, that whole outpost is beautiful and big, and it begs for some more interaction and fun mini games going on. And I think that would give you something that's quite unique and a lot of fun to do.
No, I agree. Well, I didn't ever hear that idea internally, or maybe somebody did have that idea, but I never heard of it internally. I think it's a great idea. What the type of stuff I heard about, which I think is cheaper but has less potential, is there's a pool table in the bar. It
Right,
could be maybe have
definitely.
pool tournaments. You know. So,
I want stuff in that bar with darts and pool tables and.
Oh yeah, darts would be great. Oh man, that takes me back back to my youth. But anyway, so we have this carte blanche day on the cycle. It's pretty cool. Like it's a day where developers can can work on whatever they want as long as it's,
Awesome.
towards the success of the project, basically. And it's kind of stuff that's inspired from how Google and other companies work in the tech sector. And somebody was working on the pool table. I think the problem was with replication, so making it multiplayer, but that's probably beyond the scope of a one-day carte blanche project for one person. But I would love it because I remember back in the day playing like Yahoo Pool and stuff. I don't know if you're old enough.
Yeah. I do remember that.
It's like the late 90s, early noughties. It was
Definitely
great fun.
All right, I've taken up a bit of your time here, but as we finish, what's something that you feel like maybe is unsaid that you'd like everyone to know about for CB2, Closed Beta 2 coming up here, or the future of the cycle in general?
Oh, well, that's unsaid. I don't know. What gets asked a lot is it going to console? And all I can say is absolutely in our plans to do that.
Oh, cool. Right.
But we want to just try to crush it on PC, and not get distracted because we're not that big. But otherwise, just honestly, I just hope everyone has a blast, and I'm super looking forward to seeing the content that's created. I'm watching way too much of it. Desperately trying not to backseat drive when I'm watching streams. What's that called again when you get people doing that?
Yeah, backseat driving.
Yeah. So tempting to explain everything.
Hey, you can do that to me anytime. I welcome that.
You know everything already, so I've watched your streams already.
Oh, yeah.
I find you have because you have a calm, soothing voice. Super
thank you.
chill. It works well for me. I like it.
Awesome.
Well, good.
I hope to have a beer with you, a game with you, game of the cycle.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll make that happen at some stage, and maybe we can chat again sometime future. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I could pick your brain for hours on this. I could give you a million more ideas to drive you nuts.
Are you in the focus test group?
I am. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I was talking to a bunch of folks. So Kinky and Son of Morning and others on the weekend. It was really, really cool. I think we talked for like 4 hours or something about the game. It was
awesome.
Super cool.
Oh yeah, cool.
So maybe I'll see you in Discord then.
Beautiful. Excellent. Thank you. Thanks again, Jonathan.
Great talking to you.
Appreciate it. Take care.
See you. Bye-bye.